You're listening to the Telltale Channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Nick Fuentes, dude on screen, is a Nazi and bizarrely is very upset with Donald Trump. Listen to this.
America, shut up. This kind of stuff was cute 10 years ago. It's not cute anymore. It's just stale. This little routine, this little act he does, it's really just insulting to our intelligence at this point. It was kind of kitschy and cute and a little funny in 2015, a decade ago. But now that he keeps doing this like obnoxious fucking bullshit, whatever this routine that he's doing is, I can't tell you how sick of it I am.
Dude, I love everything about this. Yes. I'm sad to say that Nazi Nick and I agree with each other on something. Trump is so his whole bit is so played out and tired.
Watching him today selling Teslas in front of the White House, and he says, I'm gonna get in one of these suckers. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, if you don't know what happened at this moment in history, Elon Musk real upset that his Nazi ideology, his signaling to Nazis, and his destruction of the U.S. government has destroyed his brand, his Tesla brand, and sales have dropped through the floor. I think they've dropped by 50% in some countries, like France. And so he's basically borderline crying on air, Elon Musk was, over this. So Trump, his little buddy, decided to do a car ad, a Tesla car ad at the White House. Kind of similar to another dictator I know who also did a car ad famously.
The fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of this weird fucking voice he's always doing, this weird jokey joke fucking gimmick.
Yeah, it's insufferable. Absolutely.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid and embarrassing and just fucking dumb. And I can't tell you how annoying it is now.
So I hear you ask, why is Nick Fuentes turning on Donald Trump right now? And I have a possible answer. Here's my possible answer. I think it might be him doing what's called negging. It's very common in incel circles, and Nick Fuentes is a self-professed incel. He's not married. He's never slept with anybody, to my knowledge, though he's very Catholic, and that seems like that's kind of contrary to his beliefs, but whatever. I think that he's Trump and the Trump sphere most definitely watch his stuff, for sure, absolutely. People in the sphere watch Nick Fuentes and take advice from him and stuff. And Fuentes had dinner with Donald Trump a while back. So I'm wondering if he's negging Trump, trying to basically get him to swoon after him to get advice from him so he can figure out how to fix it.
I've been on the Trump train for 10 years, and it's like, I can't take it anymore. I feel like I'm going crazy. It's just like a bad sitcom.
Tell me about it, bro. I've been living in it this whole time.
It's like an insufferable sitcom character that does a funny gag, and they just keep going every season, and it gets more hammed up. It's like Jar Jar Binks. Trump has turned into Jar Jar Binks.
Turned into? He's been Jar Jar Binks the whole time. Only 6-year-olds thought he was funny in the first place. Everybody else was horrified and disgusted by how fucking stupid he was as a character. And here we are with President Jar Jar Binks 10 years later.
He's in front of the White House. Should I get in this sucker? Shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you talking about? Can you...
A man after my own heart over here.
Talk normally? Can you just be fucking normal for 10 seconds? Jeez. And 10 years ago, he was more normal. 10 years ago, there was a little more, I don't know, discretion, or I don't even know what you would call that, just tact. 10 years ago, he was serious.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't serious then. Donald Trump seemed to have two settings. His two settings are Jar Jar Binks, obnoxious, thinks he's funny, but he's not, and full-blown dictator. Having people arrested for protesting and stuff. Those are the only two settings he has ever had. It's just at one point he felt like he couldn't take that additional step of arresting protesters, like saying that Mexicans are racists and all of that, if you remember, like back when he very first was running for office. That was his shithead mode. Maybe that's what I should call it, the shithead mode. And the Jar Jar Binks mode has existed since day one.
Was intense, and he was a little bit funny sometimes. Now he's just always doing this weird, jokey voice, doing these weird, like, billions and billions. Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Oh my God, yes.
Can't stand it anymore. It's like just, and yeah, call it Trump derangement syndrome. It's more just like Trump annoyance syndrome. Like,
yes.
10 years of this? Gosh. It's like a family member that says the same thing to you every day. It's like a best friend that has like a weird habit or something.
Or they make the same stupid fucking joke. Like, walk up to you and they start doing this right here, fucking up your hair while they're doing it. That shit's annoying in its own right. And they say, hey, you know what this is? And you say, what is this? And they say, it's a brain sucker starving to death. It's funny once, but 16 more times in the next week, it's too much at a certain point. Just please stop, Oh my God. My dad used to do that shit. It is so insufferable.
That, or a colleague at work or a classmate doing the same thing day in, day out. Eventually you're like, I can't take it,
Oh my God, that's funny, dude. I love it. I love that Nick Fuentes is turning against him. It's just the best. And now I'm hearing from all the people that had that brain sucker starving to death on their head too. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. I'm going to Minneapolis, Minnesota for American Atheist Convention, April 17th, and I hope that you guys make it there. That would be awesome. Because my wife is going to be there for work purposes. It would be really fantastic if I had somebody just like hang out with, so I wasn't bored to tears while she's off doing work-related things. So I hope you guys make it, for real. I hope there are a bunch of people that I can hang out with, because there aren't always like a lot of people. Sometimes there are a couple of people, but they always have other things going on too, so I'll have plenty of time to hang out. Atheists.org to find out conference details if you're interested. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Sarah McBride is the first trans congressman, I believe. She was in a committee hearing, I think, and a Republican congressman misgenders her. Listen to how it goes. It's good. You're going to appreciate this very much.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, she says.
Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, it's a.
This is Keith Self on the left, by the way. The shithead that's doing this is Keith Self. We're going to talk about him in a second and all the other stupid shit he's done recently.
We have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said? You introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America. Please.
I will.
Go do it.
The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I mean, I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
That's the best. This is what we need to do. Let me explain. After World War II, there was a big question as to how we denazify. How do we denazify Germany? And there were a few steps taken. I wrote a book about it, owenmorgan.com. It's called Was Hitler an Atheist? It's on Amazon and Audible, but the last chapter is on denazification, and here's how it worked. They banned swastikas. They banned preachers from preaching about Nazism and race inferiority and things like that, basically, to start. But the most important step that they took was shaming them, embarrassing them. Nobody wanted to be known as a Nazi anymore because it was embarrassing. Nobody wanted any connection to it. You know, there was one example given in For the Soul of the People by Victoria J. Barnett. There's an example of a person after Hitler died and everything, coming to work wearing the only pair of boots that he owned, his jack boots, you know, his Nazi boots. And people were horrified by it. They were embarrassed by it. They sent him home. They said, don't come back unless you find another pair of boots somewhere, dumpster, whatever. But don't bring those out. They banned Nazi memorabilia. They banned preaching about it or talking about it on the street corner or whatever else. They made it embarrassing. And that's what we need to do. In my personal opinion, we need to embarrass MAGA nutcases. We need to make them ashamed to show their faces and speak the words that they speak. Short of full-blown deprogramming by, like, tying them to a chair and forcing them to watch atrocities that have been committed the way they did in Germany. Short of doing that, our best weapon is shame. So this Keith Self guy, he's been doing town halls, and town halls have not been going well for Republicans as of late. These people are getting booed off stage. These Republicans have been. Listen to what happened to Keith Self the other day. Says the Doge program. By the way, I wrote the subtitles. You like them? The Doge program, and then just a big long boo. The solid minute and a half of this. He tries to talk more here. So basically what he's saying is the Doge program is similar to Bill Clinton basically firing federal employees. No, it's not. Like, not even a little bit. The president has some degree of control over the federal workforce. Bill Clinton was not destroying it for the sake of destroying it. He wasn't even destroying it. He was reforming certain federal departments. It didn't destroy it. It didn't put a stop to the work. It didn't cause any kind of delays or problems of any sort. And it was over the course of 4 years, I believe, that he was trying to, like, refit and reform the federal workforce. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody complained about it. You picked some random thing out of history that you think is going to excuse Elon Musk and Donald Trump completely destroying the federal workforce. There's no excuse for this. And everybody in this room knows that. He's using this as an excuse. And he tries again. It's very closely akin to what Bill Clinton did.
This is very closely akin to what Bill Clinton did.
People not accepting this. I love it. Yeah, he's saying between 93 and 95, Clinton... what did he say? Managed to cut 400,000 jobs? I don't even know if that's true. I doubt it. I doubt everything out of this dude's mouth. But either way, that's not the same as destroying federal programs, closing down the Department of Education instead of going through Congress, doing it through the presidency. Does not have that right. Clinton passed it through Congress, unlike what's happening now, illegally. Between 93 and 2000, he says. And I wrote, grumble! By the way, just a quick reminder, this is the same shithead that referred to the congressman as Mr. McBride instead of Miss McBride or Mrs. McBride or whatever.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
I really try to clean it up figure out what he said in that audio, but the bottom line is people are not happy with him right now. People are not happy with him. I wonder what it's like to be one of the most hated human beings in U.S. politics. He's up there, certainly, right?
Congressman Keith Self from Collin County held a town hall in Wiley this morning, and his constituents did not hold back.
This is the same one being referenced by the news. It's just a different shot.
My question is, can we count on you to go back to Washington and demand immediate oversight into Doge and Elon Musk?
Immediate oversight into Doge. Love it.
Self is a Republican aligned with President Trump. At the rowdy event, he was asked about things like Elon Musk's access to personal information, potential cuts to Medicaid. The representative said conversations like this are critical and unique in this country.
There are a lot of people that have concerns about what's going on. I understand.
He defended Elon Musk up on stage and Trump. He defended them up there, okay? This is such a politician move. It is such a scumbag move to say something like this. I understand.
There were some personal stories that we heard that are truly, we want to help them work on that.
Go f yourself.
But what you saw today was America. We have differences of opinion. We get to air them.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you said that. Now, will you say that to Donald Trump, who just had a permanent U.S. resident, legal green card holder, arrested for protesting? Here you go. Rubio defends detainment of Colombia activists, says more arrests will come. Secretary of State Marco Rubio defended the decision to detain a green card holder. By the way, green card holder, again, legal resident. Okay, this is somebody that's been here for a long time, who's gone through a whole process to make it completely legal that they are here. They live here, they work here, they pay taxes here. For all intents and purposes, they basically are citizens, except for a few things, like they're not allowed to vote legally in most, certainly not in federal elections. I guess in some municipalities they can. They have certain protections under the U.S. Constitution. They have protections under U.S. rulership. So, like, if they're captured by, like, an enemy country, then the U.S. will try to get them back and things like that. Legal U.S. permanent resident, arrested for protesting. He's originally from Syria, was arrested by immigration officials on March 8th for his involvement as a key negotiator during Colombia's protests over the Israel-Hamas war last year. While he entered the country on a student visa, he had eventually obtained legal permanent U.S. residency, commonly referred to as a green card. Yeah, and his wife is pregnant, and she's about to have the baby, like any day now. And it's very possible that he won't be there for it because he'll be in an ICE facility, a concentration camp. Maybe Guantanamo Bay? I don't know. What did he do? Nothing. He did nothing. Okay? He was a key negotiator during protests. That is it. What are they claiming he did? Supported Hamas, quote unquote, i.e. opposed Israel. That's it. So, back to Keith Self here. What was that you said? Sorry. I got gummy bears in my ears. Say it one more time for me.
Or truly, we want to help them work on that. But what you saw today was America. We have differences of opinion. We get to air them openly.
News to me. News to Donald Trump. Why don't you tell his dumbass that information? He could use it. It looks like cops are like, what, are dragging people out or telling people to leave. I don't know what's happening, what this shot is of. But anyway, police being at these town halls, they're never for the people. They're always for the politicians. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. This dude is about as low as it gets. I'm going to Minneapolis, Minnesota for American Atheist Convention, April 17th, and I hope that you guys make it there. That would be awesome. Because my wife is going to be there for work purposes. It would be really fantastic if I had somebody just like hang out with, so I wasn't bored to tears while she's off doing work-related things. So I hope you guys make it, for real. I hope there are a bunch of people that I can hang out with, because there aren't always like a lot of people. Sometimes there are a couple of people, but they always have other things going on too, so I'll have plenty of time to hang out. Atheists.org to find out conference details if you're interested. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. I don't know if you guys know Anonymous. It's a hacking group. It's a very decentralized hacking group. They famously wear these Guy Fawkes masks, and they're kind of anarchists a little bit. When I was in the hacking community, I was very interested in, like, Anonymous, but Anonymous is a bunch of different people. I think they have a Twitter account that's run by specific people. Anyway, David Pakman interviewed Anonymous on air one time with a member of the Westboro Baptist Church, and the Anonymous guy basically hacked their website live on air and put some stuff up there live while they were talking. It was just the best. Anyway, Anonymous has a message for the country that they just released.
Greetings, users of TikTok. You may have noticed disruptions across your social media platforms.
Yeah, when this happened, Twitter was down. Twitter was brought down by an organized attack.
It began with Twitter and is now extended to Snapchat. These platforms are struggling to maintain stability due to targeted and strategic actions against their systems. Know this. This is only the beginning. They may regain control temporarily, but their infrastructure will continue to falter over and over again. You may be asking, why is this happening? The answer is clear. Social media wields immense influence, not just in the United States, but across the globe. Elon Musk understood this power and exploited it, aligning himself with Donald Trump to manipulate the outcome of the 2024 presidential election. We have investigated. We have seen the evidence. The 2024 election was not free from interference.
So Anonymous is openly claiming that there is evidence that the election in 2024 was hacked and stolen on behalf of Donald Trump. Do I personally think that's the case? I mean, there's more to this Anonymous video that I want to listen to, but just to address this, do I think that's the case? I think that if it was possible, he absolutely would have done it. Donald Trump and Musk, 100% for sure. But do I think it's possible? I'm leaning no, because over the past 4 years, I've learned how the electoral system works, and I've found that, like, it's actually very difficult to breach. I think that the best way that they could have done it is through voter suppression. Could they have suppressed by throwing out ballots, by saying, oh, I don't even know if this person is real, toss them. This person has a weird little squiggly on the end of their name, toss it. Just throw it in the trash. If they did enough of that in blue districts and they didn't do it at all in red districts, I can see that swaying the election. And they did absolutely for sure do that. 100%, without a doubt. Like, we can look at the numbers and we know how many voters were tossed out like that. It's not a secret. But the bottom line is, I don't think it was stolen. I'm willing to change my mind, but I don't believe so right now. Not for nothing, but Donald Trump has come out and admitted that he stole the election. Do I think he did? I don't think he was capable of doing so. But you get things like this and it raises eyebrows.
Sad, because I said, can you imagine, I'm not going to be president? And that's too bad. And then what happened is they rigged the election and I became president. So that was a good thing. It was a good thing.
They rigged the election and I became president.
They rigged the election and I became president. So that was a good thing. It was a good thing.
I think that he says like this intentionally to try to make it seem as though, to try to get himself on the news, basically. But there's plausible deniability. I don't think he actually did it. How about this one? Tucker Carlson does an interview with Elon Musk. He has his kid on, and they say this. I don't think the subtitles on this are exactly correct, but you'll get what I'm saying here.
Should we help President Trump?
Yeah.
Well, you have. Yeah.
We're in SpaceX and quietly just do whatever we want.
If we're in SpaceX, we quietly just do whatever we want. Now, I don't believe that Elon Musk would be stupid enough to talk about plans that are very, very illegal, like hacking an election to steal it. I don't think he'd talk about that in front of his 4-year-old kid and then take his 4-year-old kid on an interview with him. I think that would be so stupid. I think it's even beyond him. So I think what's being said here is probably innocuous, but it's kind of weird, right? Somebody subtitled it evil laughter. That's not evil laughter. That's just a kid laughing. Come on.
What's your assessment? Did this work? Is he going to win?
By the way, this was cut out of the Tucker Carlson interview. This was removed from it and posted later without it.
Yeah, it is. Not for now. No.
He says they'll never know.
I think it's done.
I mean, he's just being a kid.
You think it's done?
Yeah.
But never know.
No.
They'll never know. Again, what does that mean?
I'm looking at the data as it comes in from every county in Pennsylvania.
Oh, he can tell us.
That's weird, right? Is that weird? Again, I don't think Elon would discuss anything in front of a 4-year-old that he wouldn't want getting out to the news, but whatever. Kind of raised my eyebrows, that's all. I just don't know what's going on. Point is, I don't think that it was hacked, but Anonymous does. So let's continue with the Anonymous video.
We have seen the evidence. The 2024 election was not free from interference. We can say with certainty that data was altered to secure a victory for Donald Trump. Key swing states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Michigan, experienced database breaches within ballot counting systems. Do you believe this is coincidence?
No, I don't. And again, I absolutely believe that Trump would 100% for sure, and Elon, try to hack the election systems if they could. It's just that we have hand-tabulated ballots. Like, we can count by hand. Did they count those by hand? I'm not sure. I don't know. Did Kamala Harris challenge the result? I have no clue. I don't know. She should have, certainly, like Trump challenged them. But anyway.
Do you believe this is coincidence? But the manipulation did not stop there. Musk weaponized Twitter's reach to spread misinformation, feeding the public artificial threats and fabricated narratives designed to influence voter decisions. This is why social media platforms now find themselves in turmoil.
Yeah, this above anything was absolutely election interference. Elon Musk purchasing Twitter and basically directing everything toward Trump, making him the most talked about, the most popular, most interesting person on Twitter. Even going so far as to actually ban the word cis as hate speech, but not ban people from, saying the N-word. The N-word wasn't banned as hate speech, but cis was. It's very obviously a bias, right? Clearly. This is a dead to rights example of election interference. I don't know how it gets any clearer than this. And all of that that MAGA nutcases did over the past 4 years about how, Trump is being treated unfairly and the justice system weaponized against blah, 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 blah. All that goes right out the window. They suddenly don't give a shit about any of it when it's being weaponized in their favor. It wasn't being weaponized before, but now it is being weaponized in their favor, and they're all in.
Twitter and its leadership directly interfered in democracy, not just in the presidential election, but in elections across the country. And yet, other platforms stood by in silence. Their inaction makes them complicit.
Absolutely agreed.
They continue to suppress the truth. They continue to censor reality. Let it be known, as long as they remain complicit, their systems will remain unstable. Only when they uphold the rights of the people, only when they allow the truth to be told, will they regain control. To the CEOs of these platforms, do what is right. If you will not serve the people, you do not deserve to be available to the people. To the remaining social media platforms, take heed. What is happening to Twitter and Snapchat is not an isolated event. It is a warning. You have enabled deception, profited from manipulation, and stood idle as the truth was buried. That time is over. If you continue down this path, you will share their fate. You are being watched. Your silence will not protect you. Your compliance will not absolve you. Make your next moves carefully. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Fascinating, right? If you're curious about the origins of the mask, it's from the movie V for Vendetta. It's called a Guy Fawkes mask, Fawkes. They're for sale all over the place. Anyway, I'm going to Minneapolis, Minnesota for American Atheist Convention, April 17th, and I hope that you guys make it there. That would be awesome. Because my wife is going to be there for work purposes. It would be really fantastic if I had somebody just like hang out with, so I wasn't bored to tears while she's off doing work-related things. So I hope you guys make it, for real. I hope there are a bunch of people that I can hang out with, because there aren't always like a lot of people. Sometimes there are a couple of people, but they always have other things going on too. So I'll have plenty of time to hang out. Atheists.org to find out conference details if you're interested. The thing about Anonymous, or let me rephrase, the thing about the Catholic Church in Germany in World War II, we'll start there, is Hitler didn't want to piss him off too much because, you know, he can size up enemy armies like Russia. He can strategize and figure out the best way to take on like the UK or America or whatever. But the Catholic Church would have been an enemy from within. They would, like, if he pissed off the Catholic Church and they fully turned against him and said, forget it, we're out, everybody throw down your arms, Hitler would have had a rash of mutinies on his hands, boats commandeered in the name of the Catholics, and platoons commandeered, and deserters, and everything else. And who knows, all the way up the chain, who, maybe even in, like, the Reichstag or wherever, somebody along the chain probably has access to him who was Catholic, and, you know, if the Catholic Church turned against him, would have been willing to do something dramatic. That's why he never fully committed to burning down the Catholic Church as an institution, because a country can be destroyed from within when it can't be destroyed from the outside. And that's kind of what Anonymous is. It's regular people that work at Facebook, some pretty high up, you know, some technical engineers, some principal engineers at Facebook, some at Twitter, some at Google, some hobbyists, some people that, you know, designed the chip architecture for like Intel or whatever. They're people from all backgrounds, all walks of life, people that wrote cute FTP in 1996 or whatever, people that have been in this field for a very long time and know what they're doing. That's who Anonymous is. Anonymous is a decentralized group, but when they put their mind to it, they can do untold amounts of damage. And just one example of how they're causing damage. I don't know exactly how Twitter was brought offline, but if I had to guess, I would assume that it's a DDoS attack, a distributed denial of service attack. And the way it works is you send a ton of requests to Twitter to give you this page. Like, go to twitter.com homepage and it'll send you this data. And they do that like a million times a day, right? Or more, billions of times a day. They serve people different pages. Except when you are requesting a page that doesn't exist or whatever, or you're trying to access a page that you're not supposed to have access to, the server has to go through additional steps, additional processes to validate whether you have access. It's additional processing power. So Anonymous will, for example, take like a million different computers and all hit Twitter at once with all of these denial of service attacks. Like they'll request access to web pages on Twitter all at the same time within the span of seconds. And then they'll do it again and again and again. And the server gets so overloaded, it starts, you know, you see the little wheel turning and nothing is happening for everybody everywhere because the servers are so bogged down. It's hard to get access to that many computers, but people will pass around these pieces of software that basically act as little nodes. Like you download something from the internet, and you install something, you install Opera web browser or something, and that little piece of code is in there that acts as a node, and it just sits there dormant on your computer indefinitely until called upon by somebody in Anonymous, for example, that wants to do this attack. They send a trigger, basically says, start doing this DDoS thing. They give it an IP address to attack, and your computer is now just hitting these servers over and over and over again. And they get 2 million different servers from 2 million different people that have downloaded this software or that software or whatever. It's like a virus, except it doesn't harm your computer. It's used to harm a different computer later on down the line. And it's super, super difficult to detect since it doesn't affect you in any way. So the point is, that's just one way that Anonymous attacks, various different organizations. Once the network is exposed, the DDoS network, though, it's not really usable anymore. You have to start over. So it's kind of difficult to maintain. But anyway, that's just one example. Tell me what you think about Anonymous, though. Like, do you think that there's something to what they're saying here? And do you think that they're really going to do something in retaliation to their belief that the election was stolen? Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they worked together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. There are a ton of town halls that are going really poorly for Republicans right now. This is one of the town halls that happened recently.
There's been a mandate to the president from the American people. Am I correct?
Oh my God, dude. A mandate. Yeah, a mandate to destroy government. I got to tell you, I don't care what kind of mandate you think Trump has. He cannot be given a mandate to destroy the democratic system.
No!
Oh boy, people didn't like that one.
It's not a mandate by the American people.
No, he didn't get a majority of the votes. He got a plurality of the votes, I understand. And that is assuming that there was zero voter suppression, which there absolutely was voter suppression, like a lot. Millions of people had their votes thrown out in Democratic districts. I haven't seen evidence that voter suppression was enough to flip the Electoral College, but I believe it's certainly enough to have given Kamala Harris the majority vote. Maybe not flip the election, but certainly she was more popular than Trump, without a doubt.
3%. Congressional budget office, you know what it's going to be by 2035? It's going to be $59 trillion.
Oh, yeah? And why do you think that is? $59 trillion in debt, huh? Why do you think that is? What do you think caused that? Do you think that it's Medicaid causing that? What do you think? Do you think it was like U.S. aid 1% of our federal budget? You know what it was? It's the fact that Trump just gave another tax cut. I think we're down to 32% or 37% or something taxed for the highest paid earners in the country, when not so long ago, within this past century, like 80 years or something, it was 90% as opposed to 37%. 90%. If we raised taxes back to where they were just in 1975 or 65 or whatever, that debt would disappear, like overnight practically. It's not poor people. They aren't the problem. The rich people are the problem. Tax the shit out of them until they have nothing left, if that's what it takes. This was the Republicans' plan all along. They've said that they wanted to make government so small you could drown it in a bathtub, quote unquote, Grover Norquist, I believe. But they can't. They can't do that. They can't cut federal programs. They can't undo the Department of Education because that's illegal. The president doesn't have that power. And Congress, they'll never have the numbers in Congress to do it because it's unpopular. People like the Department of Education. So what do? They keep cutting taxes, cutting, until there's no revenue coming in, or there's certainly not enough revenue coming in anymore to maintain government operations. It was only a matter of time before either programs were cut or taxes were raised. And raising taxes is an uphill battle. So they just keep cutting taxes until there's no other choice but to cut programs. And by the way, I'm not even sure it's possible to cut enough programs in the United States to make up for the debt and the deficit like that. I think there's no other way but to tax billionaires. Yeah, so let me step back a little bit more. One more time.
The Congressional Budget Office, you know what it's going to be by 2035? It's going to be $59 trillion.
We're giving billionaires tax cuts. Absolutely correct. We are giving billionaires tax cuts. And you know what people say in response to that? Well, if we give them tax cuts, then it'll be economically stimulative. No, it won't. That's not how it works. That's not how it has ever worked. This just completely made up trash. It does not trickle down, okay? It's never trickled down. It has always trickled up. Why the fuck do you think people are giving tax breaks in the first place? So they can get more money. Your sorry is not making a dime from billionaires getting massive tax cuts.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you? You've got people who pay more taxes. The top 1% of this country pays taxes, more taxes.
I don't give a f. I want them to pay even more than, I want them to pay 4 times as much as they're paying now, at least, bare minimum. As a percentage, I want them to pay 90% of the revenue that they take in, including capital gains, if they make over $10 million. Capital gains, I could settle for 30%, unless it's in a retirement fund. 30% capital gains, which means Elon Musk, his income is like zero. He makes basically nothing every year because all of his money is tied up in stocks, right? He's got a ton of Tesla stock, $400 billion worth of Tesla stock or somewhere in there. Those are considered unrealized income is what that's called. If he sells those stocks, those aren't subject to income tax because it's not an income like a regular income. That is him converting one asset to another form. It's converting stocks to money, right? So it's taxed in a different way. It's taxed under the capital gains rule. And the capital gains rule says you pay 15%. 15%. So anytime Elon Musk needs money, wants to spend $10 million on a house or something for his baby mama, he sells some of his Tesla stock, pays 15% in taxes on it, while your is paying 22%. I'm paying 22%. And he buys the house, and it's done. I want to see capital gains at 30%, unless you own under $1 million worth of assets, or unless it's a retirement account. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but I could definitely think about this a little bit more. 30% for capital gains. I also want to see 90% income tax rate over 10 million, and I'm being generous here. I want to see estate tax. I mean, we could go all out, not just to fund the government, not just to drive down the debt, but to help the homeless and the poor, the people who are most vulnerable among us, and to prevent billionaires from being able to do something like buy a government like they just did with Trump. That's what I want to see. He pays no tax. He only takes loans against the stock he owns. You're absolutely correct. I was just using him as an example, but actually, Elon Musk pays zero in taxes in most cases, unless there's some special unique situation. You don't pay taxes on loans because loans are not considered income. So he takes out loans from a bank and leverages his Tesla stock to get basically whatever he wants. And he pays a super low interest rate on it, 2-3% maybe, as opposed to the 15% capital gains tax or the 37% income tax. He's paying 2 or 3% on his loans. When he dies, there is no estate tax to my knowledge. I think they got rid of it. So when you die, loans are paid out from your estate and then distributed to your family and everything else. That means he paid $0 in taxes on the money that he uses to live off of. His food that he pays for, his gas, his whatever he needs, it's all untaxed because of that. Anyway, my point is we need to tax the shit out of them right now. If we want to dig ourselves out of this hole, we need to tax the shit out of them. I'm done with this. I'm going to Minneapolis, Minnesota for American Atheist Convention, April 17th, and I hope that you guys make it there. That would be awesome. Because my wife is going to be there for work purposes. It would be really fantastic if I had somebody to just like hang out with, so I wasn't bored to tears while she's off doing work-related things. So I hope you guys make it, for real. I hope there are a bunch of people that I can hang out with, because there aren't always like a lot of people. Sometimes there are a couple of people, but they always have other things going on too, so I'll have plenty of time to hang out. Atheists.org to find out conference details if you're interested. Anyway, there's another video that I have here from this, what I believe is the exact same town hall. Yeah, it was the same one. Listen to this. It continues.
Concussion, and now she cannot function as a young woman because she was paralyzed because of the hit that he gave her. That is I'm not going to back up on my decision. So, and I hope that the president will take care of putting those
Like, it's really hard to understand, but I guess they're making this woman leave.
money respecting the rightful place, and I think he will. And now we're at 12:30, and I have another appointment. Now look, and listen, I appreciate you all showing up, whether you like my answer or whether you didn't.
Councilwoman, we have one more.
Okay, we got one more question.
The last question.
They're making her leave. Jesus Christ, man. Like, these town halls are completely out of control at this point. Like, these congressmen are not answering questions that they were elected and are paid to answer.
Wondered how you felt about President Trump pardoning the January 6th.
That's right.
Committed crimes, especially
How do you feel about Trump pardoning the January 6 people?
against our police officers.
If there's someone that had a prior criminal record, then your state and local law enforcement.
I don't give a shit about prior records. Like, deal with those. Fine. We're not talking about prior records. What in that question made you think the person was asking about prior records? We're talking about them doing an insurrection against the U.S. government.
Should be able to track them. I don't know who all he did pardon.
Do you support it? Do you support it? Just answer the question.
I was there.
I know, answer the
Oh, that explains it.
question.
We're going to delve deeper into that. We're finding out that some of those people and those FBI agents were outside. And I'm not going to.
Oh, please, dude. She's saying that it was an FBI coup or whatever. Why did Trump pardon all of the January 6th people if it was an FBI plant or operation or whatever the hell? It is so stupid.
It's a yes or no question.
Why did the January 6th committee destroy hundreds of pages of documents?
It's a yes.
They didn't. This is complete nonsense. Meme rehashes old false claim that January 6th committee destroyed evidence. Just made up. You just made this shit up.
Yes or no question.
That was the Democrats who destroyed hundreds of pages of documents.
Answer.
January 6th committee investigated January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, deleted and destroyed all of the information that they collected over 2 years. False. Completely false.
Her question.
Told not to destroy them. I agree with the pardons of some of those people who walked in and walked out.
What about the ones who attacked the police?
Anyway,
What about the ones that attack police?
the
Anyway, yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway.
January 6th pardons, the president, that was one of the promises he made on the campaign trail, and he did.
Anyway, yeah, wow. Jesus Christ, man, these people are shameless. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. There are a ton of town halls that are going really poorly for Republicans right now.
To,
Our job.
Yep. Yep.
Do your job you're sent there to do. I had a lot of trouble making this out. I tried to create subtitles for it, but there's a guy yelling at him right now in the audience, and he is not happy.
Yep. Thank you.
He has nothing to say.
thank you for that feedback. Sure.
You're lying. I'm a veteran. You don't give a fuck about me. In case you can't make it out, I'm reading the subtitles for the audio audience.
To be clear, yeah,
You don't get to take away our rights. Fuck you. You don't get to take our jobs. Fuck you. Just saying it over and over again.
All right.
Wow, dude, these guys are having a rough go of it at these town halls, and it gets even worse than that. That wasn't Chuck Edwards' only, tough question, I guess you could call it. There's this other dude here who asked him even more questions. Same guy. I mean, different audience member, same congressman, Chuck Edwards.
Do you support the annexation of Canada and/or Greenland? And this is a yes or no question. I don't want you to wander off into the woods. I don't want to hear about your latest week in your office.
I love that, dude. This is the best. I am a big fan of this guy. Another person I want to send a fruit basket to. Can we find this guy so we can send a fruit basket to him? They just walked away with the microphone. Or they give it back.
I'm trying to get your opinion on this as a yes or no. Do you support Trump on annexing Canada or Greenland? And do you like the way he treats the premier or the president of Canada, calling him governor? Is that the way you do as a diplomat? Is that the way the United States should act to our closest neighbors? You know, is this, and I've still got a little more time. Do you enjoy the way he's tried to extort minerals from the Ukraine? Do you like bullying people that need your help?
Yeah, with Ukraine and the mineral stuff, Trump offered a deal that was insane. It was so detrimental to Ukraine that it would cripple their economy. And it's obvious that they would never take such a deal. Like, it's obvious that Trump was very intentionally trying to offer a deal that he knew that nobody would ever take because he didn't intend to help Ukraine. But them refusing to take the deal turns it on them. Now it's their fault that they're losing the war because they could end this. They just don't want to work with the United States to end it by signing this deal that would completely cripple their economy. But Zelensky shows up to the White House, says, I'm all in, let's do it. They have all the pens there and everything, they're ready to sign. And Trump starts yelling at Zelensky and kicks him out of the White House before they can sign. Pretty obvious what happened. Zelensky played it like a professional, like a champ. And Donald Trump was backed into a corner, had no choice but to start some stupid shit because Zelensky was not playing into his hands. You know, a lot of the money that Ukraine got from the United States was a loan anyway. And the stuff that they got, half of it wasn't even in money. Half of it was in supplies, old supplies that needed to be replaced in the U.S. military because we have to upgrade our military every 5 years or so. New weapons, new guns, new bayonets, new helmets, new blankets, and MREs and everything. So instead of sending them to a landfill, we send them to Ukraine, and they use it to humiliate a historical adversary. And I'm not saying Russia's an adversary. Russia is saying they're an adversary. It was money. It was the best spent money that we could ever have put into anything. And instead of continuing to do that, Donald Trump burns the whole thing to the ground, burns the whole deal to the ground, refuses to cooperate with Zelensky or any of that stuff. So it's not even like he was acting like a bully. He was pretending to care so that he could turn it on Zelensky. It's even more debased and vile than this guy is framing it. Joni Cummings, love how the Republicans are getting their asses handed to them and they can't answer questions. I know. It's just the best. I eat this up. It's because they're completely unpopular. Everything they're doing right now is unpopular.
Do you like bullying people that need your help? Do you go for kicking the guy when he's down? Do you support Trump in these things? And this is a yes or no.
The no's in there. Let me answer the first one, and then there was one that really stuck out that I'd like to also answer.
So now he's going to give us an answer that he would never give anywhere else in any other context. It's going to be the most liberal answer ever. But when push comes to shove, his answer really is, yes, he supports Trump. Yes, he will vote with Trump 100% of the time. Yes, he'll do whatever it is that Trump wants. Yes, he supports Trump's push against Ukraine and in favor of Russia and all that stuff. So whatever he says next is going to be a lie, because we can see how he votes and the things that he says when he isn't in front of an angry crowd.
I believe your first question that you wanted, yes or no, is do I support annexing Greenland and Canada? The short answer to that is no, I do not.
Okay, great. Now, do you support me in saying Donald Trump is a fucking moron that is destroying international relations by saying stupid shit like that? Do you support me in saying such a thing? Would you put that on paper? Of course he wouldn't. He'd say, well, we have differences of opinion, you know. Yeah, what's the long answer? Metal Jacket says. Give me the long one.
There was another question in there. I think it was, do I support a deal? I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. A deal with Ukraine in obtaining minerals and helping the United States taxpayer recoup the.
No, again, that shit was already going to be recouped. That's a lot of that money was a loan in the first place, and also we're using it to help embarrass a historical adversary and show people that you can't just invade sovereign territory that belongs to somebody else. No imperialism. Democracy stands tall. That's what we're doing. We're paying to show that democracies stand together. It's money well spent.
The United States taxpayer recoup the $140 billion or so that we've sent over there? The answer is yes, I do support that.
Okay. That's just dumb as dog shit.
We'll go to our next.
Anyway, the point is that this guy, like, votes with Trump most of the time. He supports Trump, a whole bunch of shit that he does. And he's feeding right into the culture war nonsense, so he doesn't get a pass. Republicans are having a hard time at town halls, and I love every second of it. I hope they have a hard time at these town halls. I hope they continue to have them so that they know how unpopular their positions really are. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. I'm going to Minneapolis, Minnesota for American Atheist Convention, April 17th, and I hope that you guys make it there. That would be awesome. Because my wife is going to be there for work purposes. It would be really fantastic if I had somebody just like hang out with, so I wasn't bored to tears while she's off doing work-related things. So I hope you guys make it, for real. I hope there are a bunch of people that I can hang out with, because there aren't always like a lot of people. Sometimes there are a couple of people, but they always have other things going on too, so I'll have plenty of time to hang out. Atheists.org to find out conference details if you're interested. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.